So, good morning, everyone. My name is Gerardo de Lutzenberger, and I'm just the moderator of this session. In a moment, I will introduce you our speakers. But first of all, let me say that this is the second year of this session, the AI Exchange at the SME Assembly. This is what we harvested last year in the session, and the session was really about operations, how you could use AI in operation in an SME. And this year we want to address one topic, which is, as you know, reducing administrative burden, which means especially reporting and compliance obligation in this case. And I think it's very relevant also considering what has come out during the assembly yesterday, where there is always this, like a cry for simplification. Everyone is asking for deregulation, simplification. So that's also a way to look at how you can use AI in our and in your companies or in your organization, because it's not just about SMEs, but also about any kind of organization. And before we start, let's just do a little poll, okay? Let's see. So this is a Slido poll, and you please have to vote to 2 questions. And the first question is very simple, is how many of you are currently using AI in their work? Okay, so 90%, almost 90% is using AI at the moment. And the second question is, do you have any experience in using AI to help reduce the administrative or reporting burdens faced by SMEs? Wow, that's also a very important outcome, because this is, we call this kind of session the participatory policy workshop. And the idea of this workshop, of this kind of workshop, is that, yes, of course, we have them, and they have a lot of experience in this, and they have stories to tell, but you also have your stories to tell, and you also may contribute to this session. So that's a participatory session, because in the second part of the session, we will open also to your intervention, to know what is your experience, what you do, and what you like to do. Okay, so let's go to the panel. So apart from myself, you can check on the app if you want to know who am I. May I introduce you, first of all, Louise Maudans. She's team lead of international affairs at the Central Agency for Continuing Vocational Education and Training in the Skilled Craft. And she develops innovative tools for dual vocational training in an international context, okay? So this is Louise, and then we have Nikolai Oliver Nielsen. Nikolai, it's the lead of FP and ESG and data science at Scantox, which is a company, a leading preclinical contract research organization headquartered in Denmark with operation across Sweden, Austria, and UK. And this role sits at the intersection of finance, strategy, and technology, focusing on building a data-driven foundation for decision-making and sustainable growth, okay? I had to read that, because they do a lot of things which are very challenging for me. So what we will do, we have 2 rounds of questions for them, and then, as I said, we have 1 question for you, and we will, you have some time to discuss at your table, but then we will open a conversation in the room with all of us, and I will move around with the microphone. So let's start from Louise. So Louise, the first question is, to what extent can AI today help ease the administrative and reporting obligation faced by SMEs? And of course, we want to know your experience so far and what your story.
Thank you very much. Also a very warm welcome from my side, and I'm really happy to be here and happy to see a lot of faces here on day 2, so that you're already here interested and there. So that's great to see. So I can hope we can catch your attention. And for that, I brought you something that our organization at the moment is developing. And at the end of November, we will have our early access. We are now in the field of the sustainability reporting. And for that, we developed the Future Compass skills crafts. And I want to give you a little bit insight, a little brief insight into it, what we have done, what we have developed, and of course, to the question how it can help you to have a little bit more less stress with your organization or administrative things that you have to do with the sustainability reporting, to collect data and everything around that. Because this is the special thing, that's why we are saying we are from the skills craft. So in Germany, we are really separating skills crafts and industry. So I know in other countries it's not so strict as in our ones. And so that's why the skills craft focus was for us really important, because most of our companies in this field have 5 to 9 employees. So which means that all the things, administrative procedures, organization, sustainability reporting is on the behalf of the company owners most of the time. So they don't have the personnel or employees to work with it, and that's why we thought about it, how we can make the sustainability reporting more easy. And that's why we are really looking forward that the European Commission developed the VSME standard. So yesterday in the Digital Tools panel, you heard the EFRAG that give a brief introduction into the VSME standard. And this is the base that we now took with this voluntary standard. We're really happy that this is now here for the SMEs because so they can do the sustainability reporting but not have to put such a big effort in it. And this is also really helpful for them to work with companies in their value chain, or when they're talking to banks or insurance companies and something like that, or want to give some tenders where sustainability is really important. So that's why we thought about it, how we can break down the VSME standard as easy as possible to this SMEs in the skills craft sector. And for that, we developed an intuitive questionnaire, which means we broke down all the different kind of data points from the VSME in multiple choice, in yes or no questions, and also that's why I am sitting here also on the panel today, and we put into also AI. So which means you gave your answers, you're going through this, and then the AI collect every information to a text, so that you then have really a good report that you can smoothly read, and you don't need the skills or the time to put into to make a good text or sentences out about your data. And that's why we have it inside there. And also a special thing which also can be interesting for consultants in this area is that they can also have their login, their own access to our Future Compass, and then can work together with the SMEs on their sustainability reporting, which is really good, so they can look into it, give comments, or help them if they have any questions to that. So not our organization will then be answering the questions, so we have the regional consultants at the Chambers of Skills Crafts that will help them also if they have there some questions. Yeah, and to make it more easier again, we also looked which interfaces make sense. So of course, CO2 data, CO2 consumption data is a big point. And so we already have some tools in Germany, the e-tool, who helps you to collect economical, to environmental data. And so we have there a direct interface with that, so that it's also more easy for the companies then to get their CO2 footprint and to know, okay, how does it look there? How am I there? And we also have the possibility to have interfaces to GIS maps, so where you can look which areas are very protectable biodiversity. So there you don't have to do your own research. You can get there also the information, am I in such an area, or an area of water consumption or something like that, or water stress. So there you can also have a look up there with the data you gave into our instrument. And so you don't have to do the research on your own, or look how I have to calculate such the data. So this is also a thing that make it more easy. So, and we are not doing that on our own or not with any other connections. So collaboration is for us a really important thing, which means we are working with a recognizable standard in Germany and institution. And this is the German Sustainability Code, also mentioned yesterday in the session in the afternoon from Linda Schollenberg. She is from the German Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, and with this support of the ministry, we had the possibility that this tool, you don't have to put in many costs or something like that. You just have to, the costs are covered already from the ministry, so which means you just have to put in your personal time to fill this thing out and don't have to invest some more money to use this tool. And that's why it is great. So our questionnaire helps to fill out the data that you needed for the VSME standard, and then with the help of the German Sustainability Code, the report will put together, all information will put together. Then there will be some experts that will check your report and look after it. Okay, make this sense, what you have written down there. Or is it just imagined? So they will have a little check so that the data not only be there, can go out there. So there will be the experts that looking through it, and then you have the possibility to download the report and also to use it for your marketing. And you have then also a signet from the German Sustainability Code and also from the Future Compass, so that you have there also, it's reliable that you use it, and also for if you're working with other companies, banks, insurance, etc., as I already mentioned, then you have it really recognizable and can really use it there and have the signet too. So, but that's not all. We want to do more. But first of all, these are our main functions that we already have and that will be then available at the end of November. I have to say at the moment the instrument is just in the German language. We have an information side in English. So if you then afterwards everybody is really interested and like that, then we can also talk and have some talks about it if it's not possible to translate also this instrument into other languages. So we are really open to this also. So we have then the early access, and when we have done this at the end of November, of course we want to think furthermore, which means that we want to look, make it more attractive, the instrument, with some gaming elements, and we want also provide some marketing materials so that the companies also have their the chance how they can use then the report and not just writing down the report, so that they can really use it for their marketing and to show off what they are already done. And then we have at the moment also some responses that maybe could it be possible that there also be some trade-specific solutions, so that the questionnaires, now we have over 135 professions in the skillscraft sector, which means the tool covers everything of that. So if you then say, okay, I'm coming from a metal background or something like that, if there is an interest, we would look also over the questionnaire and think, okay, where we can a little bit tailor it more, and so then can be it also more professional and more customized to the demands that then the different kind of job profiles maybe have then there. So
thank you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Nikolai, over to you.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Very impressive. I don't have a PowerPoint, but I want to give you the context of our company. So a few years ago, we were closed down by our owner. We were lucky enough to be bought up by a new company, a capital fund. So you know, obviously with capital funds, there are a lot of very high potential things they want you to do. At the same time, ESG, CSRD also came to us. So we had to do a lot of stuff, but we were a small company that had been cut off essentially from the overhead function. But we still had to do certain things. So people like me, the CFO and so on was hired. And our plan was we wanted to grow our company hugely, which we have done, but without growing the overhead as much as you'd normally have in a natural environment without AI. AI obviously came in, and we brought it in completely. We embraced it and tried to reduce all the need for consultants, all the need for external services that we saw that were out there. So we had a lot of things such as this, not obviously with AI and all of that stuff, but we had a lot of different consultants coming in. We had a lot of different services that we were spending a lot of money on. But by using the AIs that come out of the box, it could be ChatGPT, Azure AI, all of the ones that you might know or might have seen in the media, we were able to strip away a lot of the costs. We were also able to grow in terms of how many things can we report to? Can we report to our internal investors? Can we report to banks? Can we report to the European Union? Can we comply with CSRD? All of these things were things that we were able to do simply by using AI. We didn't have to hire people. We didn't have to use consultants. We were just able to do it internally with the people that we had. So it's been a huge benefit, especially as a growing company. So what was explained earlier is also that we moved into different countries. And I know the Danish market very well. I know the Danish regulations and so on, but I have no idea what's happening in Austria. I don't know what we have to comply with. I don't know the complexity of that country. So normally we would have to go and get a consultant. We would normally go to maybe even invest in an employee or something like that. But we were able to just simply expand into that market by having an AI give us the complexity of what it is. And then I, with my experience, would be able to translate it into my normal job. So I would be able to say, this is what it looks like in Denmark. These are the things that are complex in the Austrian market or in the UK market. And I'm able to sort of transfer my knowledge into that field. So I don't have to necessarily get help from the outside and so on. So we're able to grow, I would say faster, but also in a more sustainable way. We don't have to increase our overhead as much as we would have had maybe 10 years ago. I also think another area where AI helped us a lot was ESG, because we were on the cusp of having to comply with CSRD and then falling into the VSME realm. We had already prepared everything we had to do for the CSRD reporting, but the omnibus change came exactly when we had to report. So we had to change, strip away everything, because as most of you know, if you put something out there, if you align with the CSRD standard, you're kind of locked into that. Your investors expect you to report to that standard every year. But in a matter of a week, we were able to strip away everything that had to do with CSRD and then move into the VSME standard. That means that we, as an SME, as a company, we're more agile, I feel. That's our way forward. We don't want to rely too much on consultants. We don't want to rely too much on external services. We want to do most of our stuff in-house. And as it is with AI now, there's a lot of things we can do. There's also a lot of things we cannot do. But the things we can do makes us at least a little bit more sustainable as a company. So yeah, that's maybe our story.
Okay. Thank you very much. And so let's move to the second question. And the second question is, what practical tips can you give to SMEs that want to use AI on this field? Okay, and Luis,
Yes.
again, you.
Yes, I can start. I brought you briefly also the points here. For me, one point that I can give here to the audience is, first of all, start smart, which means to look at which are recognizable, reliable, and also affordable tools that you can that you can use, for your SME. And therefore, it can also be a decision to say, in this is at that area, or for this or that kind of processes, we don't need AI. So yeah, you really have to look, make it sense, to use it there, or is it more effort for my team, for my employees to use it or to implement it? Because it has to be a help, yeah, and not another layer of technology that you maybe put in there. So that's why the smart start to look what it's used, and also when we are looking at our field with the sustainability reporting, of course, it is good to know which is also recognized, yeah, to see how this is working, so that you can then work with other companies together when they are using this kind of tools. But I also want to mention at this first point one challenge that we already have to face, and this was the topic when you are using AI. For us, it was then new information that we became an AI provider. So, which means you have to write down a lot of information in your terms of use, and this is something we didn't know before. So we did it and we said, yeah, okay, we have now the software, we bought the software or we used the software, but then we became the AI provider. So, and this was for our head of IT also a little challenge to look, okay, with the EU AI Act, what I have to prepare as a documentation for our terms of use, so that the users can see what the AI is working with, what the AI is using with, which AI provider we are using, and so on. So this is also something which I say with Start Smart. So if you want to use it, then you also have to look, okay, is it just for our company, or do we want to use it in our own tools, the AI? So then maybe you also have to check if you become then an AI provider. So then this can be a little bit more challenging than with the whole thing of the documentation. Then a second point, which I would really recommend, is the connection of your systems. So it's really good if you have the connection between your financial data, your HR, also your CO2 tracking and something like that, or your production systems. And I also heard in the Skritzcraft sector, I was in Bavaria last week, and there I heard that some companies already are working also with AI agents, so that they can also be connected then, as we also heard here, with your reporting system. So this is then much easier to collect over the year your data for your sustainability report, and you don't have to look it up once a year and then saying, okay, now I'm sitting here, I don't know where to look, where to have. So maybe there you can also connect the systems and have then different kind, like I showed at the Future Compass, some interfaces where you can put in your data and don't have to do it twice or 3 times to collect them or to store them somewhere. And of course, another point is, which is for me also really important, to give this message, please go beyond this reporting. So it's, of course, you need a reporting for your business if you're working with other companies together, but it's a thing that you also can use to create also with AI, with your own team, a strategy for sustainability, to use your data and also to look it up, how we are performing at the moment. So that's why for us, as I mentioned, as our features that will come in the future, is also the topic of statistics really important for us, because we want to show the companies in the different professions, okay, how do I perform with companies in my region, in my trade or something like that. So then I get the motivation to do it, because we know the first companies that will use our tool or already tested it are companies that are really take care about sustainability already. So they have already a little bit higher standards. So then you can look at your competitors that are doing this and maybe can get a little bit more insights how I can do then use this more strategically, and then just write it down and then say, yeah, that's okay. I just wrote it down, and it has to be also in the company daily life to live this, and it can be just one point to use it to get an overview over your data.
Thank you. And Nikolai?
I think for us, AI is a more personal experience within our company. So every employee uses AI differently. And at least for the employees that I have under me, I tell them, if you use AI, it's your responsibility to produce something that is of high quality. So you can't just outsource it and say your job is now being done by AI. The same thing if you're running a piece of strategy work, if you're running ESG reporting or whatever it might be, the end product always belongs to you. And that would always belong to us as a company as well. So whatever it is that we do with AI, it belongs to the employees that we have. And then I think for the second tool or the second tip, I mentioned it a little bit before. AI is good at many things, but there's also a bunch of things that it's not really there yet. So what I also give on to my employees is that be ready to give up or give up fast, because if you try something with an AI and it doesn't really work, I think it's indicative of it never really being able to produce something of high quality for you. So at least when it comes to reporting, when it comes to automation, ESG, whatever it might be, if the AI doesn't have a real good answer within the first 10 minutes, maybe the first hour, I would say basically give up, because you're not getting your answer through that. And that could just be that there is it's basically trained on online data. So if you're in a very specific industry, for example, we're in pharma, that information is not available to the AI. And I can feed it to it, but I might not be able to feed it what I'm really expecting back from it. So I think giving up very fast is something that I at least tend to get a lot of value from. The last thing is also that I see a lot of people are not using AI for many different things. So like I mentioned before, AI is a very personal experience. I'll use it for some things that are needed in my job. I might not be getting enough advice from my boss on a certain area. I'll use the AI for a little bit of that. I might also not know a lot of things in a certain part of what my role is supposed to be. I might ask it for help there, or I might ask it to produce a report, or whatever it might be. But I also noticed that the employees that I have, or the people that use AI at my company, they use it for so many different things that I didn't think about. So being able to share that as a tool, similarly to how we share what we use Excel for or what we use PowerPoint for, I think looking at it as a tool and not just as AI, this big random thing, is able at least for us to push what we can do with it a little bit more. Because it is still a product that we just have. It is not a new person in our company. It's basically just a tool that we can use. But that's it for me, yeah.
Thank you. I must say that also in my work, I'm a facilitator. We start using AI, and you may even have a buddy during the session, which is a colleague of mine is just doing this now, trying to test it. It's just a test, it's just a tool, of course. Okay, so now it's over to you. So the idea is that, yes, but before just getting the questions, if you write down your question, because you right after, but take a few moments, let's say 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, and we have the same question also for you. If you have any practical, maybe 3 practical tips from your experience on how to apply AI in this context, would be nice to hear also your voice. And also, of course, if you have any question for them, because their experience is so interesting that maybe you want to know a little bit more about that. So, I mean, take just 10 minutes at your table. You have also some paper and markers if you want to use it. And in 10 minutes, we will open and I will come with the mic. And write down your question, because questions fly away. If you don't write it, it will disappear, okay? Thank you. Okay, shall we start? Because time is flying. I'm sorry, I know that I'm interrupting your conversation. But so, you want the microphone? No? Yeah? No, if you, yeah.
Thank you. My name is Burçak İnel. I used to work for the European Banking Federation until very recently. So my team was in charge of formulating the bank's contribution to the VSME. And we work with the SMEs quite closely. And our vision was indeed a VSME that can be used by an SME without hiring external support. So I'm not talking about AI, but really something that doesn't cost consultants. So I'm very happy to hear your experiences on both sides. Thanks for all your work. And Louise, I guess around the table we have a little bit of experience from the OECD, from Luxembourg, and from Slovenia and France. And one question was, to what extent your tool right now, the results, the early results that you're getting, are able to satisfy the needs of the SMEs vis-a-vis their financiers. So in terms of banks, if you could, if there's any experience that you have, are banks nonetheless still asking for more information, or are you not at that point where you can assess the outcome? Thank you.
And it's for Luis, yeah, or for both? Okay. Can you just hold the answer? Any other question or any other tips from your side? Yeah. You don't know?
Hi, how's it going, everyone? I'm Eugene. I have used AI before, but just when I was creating documents and work. But I still found I still had to always check the documents, even though it took the number of drafts, it reduced the number of drafts. I still had to check and check and check. But we have a question as to how can an SME use an AI bespoke to itself? Like, say, if you're a hairdresser and you want to use AI, would you have to get somebody in to train them? How would you learn it? Would the tool be able to support them, or do you tailor the tool for that SME?
Okay. Yeah, let's start. Yes. You need to use the mic.
We have to get everything.
Good morning. My name is István Komorowski. I'm coming from Hungary, from the business. We are the cooperatives organizations, which is mainly retail trade in the rural areas of the country. However, of course, as other SMEs, we are in need of capital and investments, of course, and not necessarily from the member states government, but from the EU. In order to comply with the EU regulations, we need, of course, to report about the ESG, as the German lady mentioned, which is very interesting because we are using mainly, unfortunately, consultants. We need to pay a lot of money, which is not good. Though our systems, as you kindly refer to, when it comes to CO, to emissions, etc., are more or less interconnected, and we should be able to report that. And my question is whether we would have a look or possible access to your system to look at, because it could have simplified our procedure, not only vis-a-vis our investors, which again I emphasize we are cooperatives and the members are our investors, but vis-a-vis the member states government and to the European Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's address a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I will combine these two ones from the tables. Thank you for the questions. Yeah, we did have a beta phase now. So we had 52 companies that already used our tool and checked our tool, and 50 consultants that always worked with it and gave us some feedback. And they were at this point really satisfied and given us also some wishes. Yeah. Have some wishes, then more, could you have this or could you have that? So we will see what we can implement. And I understand we also say all the time to our Skillscraft companies and to the consultants, the VSME is now the lowest point that you will get in the sustainability reporting. That's the most practical one. So great that you have looked at the SMEs and everything. But we said, okay, we need this tool also because most of the SMEs and the owners, as I said, don't have the time to look at the SME points and also at all the explanation. Yeah, you have a lot then of explanation sites, of course, where you get the insights, how I can calculate my footprint and something else, which was totally helpful for us because we could prepare it into this tool so that the companies don't have to do it and it's a little bit more easy. And this is just the background because, as I said before, they have 5 to 9 employees. So the company owners have to do it and they didn't have the time to look through the whole VSME and looked it up. We also translated it into German already so that they also can look it up. And also in our instrument, we have also the original text from the VSME. If somebody wants to look it up, we also have it in the instrument so that you can already see, okay, this is coming from there if you want to get a little bit more insight. But we said we needed to break it down a little bit more for them, so make it more easy. And we have a good response until yet, but now with the early access, we want to see how more companies are working with it and thinking about it. And to your question, of course, you can still now have a look inside. You can create your account, but as I said, it's in German. So maybe, of course, you can use maybe a translate app with
AI,
the phone.
you can use AI.
AI, yeah, to look it up with your phone, or there is everything working, so where you can see a little bit and get a little bit inside, and then of course we can connect with each other, and then if it's there interesting. As I said, we already designed it like that we can translate it also in other languages, so that it's then not so many costs to work with that. So this from my side.
Okay, and Nikolai, maybe something. Yeah,
I think maybe that question. I think I've also used AI very early on, where the thing you get out, you have to go through a few drafts. What we've also started doing now is kind of doing recursive AI a little bit. So you kind of feed it back to the AI and you tell it, would you still give this answer? So that's one way to kind of skip ahead a little bit. And I know that the next models for AI will be more recursive. So the AI will kind of think, is this really a good answer or not? And then it will maybe restart the process, add more information and so on. So it kind of builds, whereas now it's just, I'll give you an answer and that's final. In terms of relating something to a specific industry or role, that is also something that we do at my company. You can create agents quite easily that specialize or can specialize in a specific, for example, it could be a finance controller or it could be a business controller, and you can feed it a little bit of information related to that role. So for example, if you have something for a hairdresser, you have to create an agent or a custom AI and feed it that level of information that is related to them. I don't know what specific use case it would be for, but it's very accessible to do that stuff, even for smaller companies. And you don't need to program or anything like that. It is pretty accessible.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have already one tip from you, no? The tip is, remember it's a tool somehow, so you can use it to speed up your work. Yeah.
When you start to use it, you must be really specific from the beginning. I think that's the key. Like, don't just go, give me 500 words on, Vienna. Don't start like that. You need to be really specific.
The prompt, what is called the prompt, the question. So if I will now move around if you have any tips or any other question, but you can also use Slido just to send to the Ideas Lounge your tips if you want, while we are just making this conversation.
I have a question for Nikolai, because you mentioned you used AI to deep dive in the legislative environment of other countries and to get rid of consultants by that. Especially when it comes to legal, I was wondering what kind of tools you were using, because it's a very, you have to be very careful if you deduct any conclusions from that. So I was just very curious what you were using and how you were using it. Thank you.
I have an example. We receive, and if there's someone from the Austrian government, don't come after us. But we receive grant money from some of our research done in Austria, and we've taken over the financial processes of that company. We no longer have an auditor at hand to give us that information. How should we calculate it? How should we do certain things? So by using AI, we've had it look into the Austrian FFG, and then we do have in-house legal team that then essentially approves our processes and so on. We still also have our real audit team that then aligns with, is this legal in terms of IFRS 16 or whatever it might be that it's related to. So we remove maybe the 80% of the barrier, and we still use a little bit of outside help or an employee for legal advice in the end. But I see it mainly as the barrier to entry is being moved to something that is a tool that you already have. Like, I already have access to AI, so I can ask it a very complex question, and if I get a good answer, then maybe that's what I bring to my legal team, and then that's what we bring to our external audit team at the end of the day. So it might not be that we're fully removing anything, we're just cutting down the cost, because normally I would have to go and ask a consultant from Austria. How does the Austrian FFG grant work for our specific use case?
Sorry, just because of the streaming.
Just in terms of tools, you used what kind of tools? Perplexity or what was the tools?
We use out-of-the-box AI tools, so we just used ChatGPT. We have the full version of that. We also have other AIs at hand. But for that question specifically, we use the research option in ChatGPT 5. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other tips or question?
I'm wondering whether in your discussions, whether the question about the climate impact of AI has come up, because when we're using AI for reporting on, CO2, there's also an impact of using AI. So I have not really delved into that, so I just know it as a headline, and I just wanted to know if this has come up and what your opinion is on that. Thank you.
Is it for us? Every cost that we incur as a company is included in our ESG reporting. So obviously, if we purchase something from a supplier, it goes into our scope 3. But beyond that, no, it's not something we consider. We also don't use it that much, and we don't use it at scale. So we have a few people in our administrative space that use AI, but we don't probably use as much as if you had a tool that was developed through AI.
Yes, and from our side, we have this also in mind. So we are working together with an Austrian company, and therefore we are also looked how we can work with the energy consumption and where the servers are standing and with which energy the servers will work together, so that we have there the part of this. And then we also did it now with an instrument that it is so that not the users have to think about a prompt or something like that. We have done this. So that's why you have a prompt that is working, and you're then pushing the button, and then you get the text that is needed, so that we also can make this a little bit smarter, the consumption and everything about it. So, and this is also a thing with data protection that we have to solve. So the user also needs to have the possibility not to use AI. So that's why they have to push the button, get then again the information if you're now using AI. And we have chosen an AI that it's only working with our own data. So it will not be used to train or with information from the World Wide Web or something like that. It's a closed environment. It's just our environment, and we formulated the prompts so that this will also be that we are looking that we can scale this a little bit down, this economic impact. Yeah.
Okay, we have some tips which are coming. One is from Eleni Chokska-Steka, sorry for the mispronouncing your name. Marketing activities, financial reporting, saving time for other activities, more important for the company. So use AI to save time and to focus on what is important. Dana Redford, SMEs should regard AI not merely as a tool, but as an assistant, which is also your message so far. Shifting from using AI to working with AI. And then we have Burkal Inel, easily accessible training capacity building for SMEs. So just, I think, stressing the need to help SMEs to understand how to use these tools. And then professional boards, advisory boards, which I guess it's something regarding the use of AI in this context. Any other question or any other comment? Yes, you again. Yeah, it's good.
So this question is for Louise. You mentioned you've become an AI provider. Yes. And you said it was quite surprising for you. We have next week the upcoming Digital Omnibus, where the AI Act will also be looked upon. Do you have any wish that we should lobby for, specifically for those organizations like you who by chance become an AI provider?
Yeah.
Obviously not implementing AI company, what would you wish for?
Yes, that's great. So I can wish something that I like. So no, for us, the most challenge was, or I have to talk about our head of IT. He had done it to look through the whole EU AI Act, what he now has to document into our terms of use. So it would be great if we have a checklist. So this, and that points you need to mention as an AI provider in your terms of use. So that we don't, if we then need more information, then we can look it up at the points in the AI Act to look up, okay, we need this more specifies, but it really needs a checklist or an overview where you can say, okay, in your terms of use as an AI provider, you need to have this, and that point. And this was his challenge because he looked through all and scan it right away, and it's a lot, to look what we have to do so that it's really compared to the legal actions that we need. And so at the moment we hope we've done it well, so but we are not sure. So we hope it's okay. We provide all the information as best as we could, but with the whole information about the AI Act and all these different kinds, it was not so easy to filter which we now really need and have to put into the terms of use. So it would be great if you have an overview and checklist. These are the points that you need in the terms of use when you are an AI provider.
Thank you. Our time is almost over. We have 4 minutes left. I wonder if my wonderful colleague Miri Aitola Dendaluce can show us. You have seen we are always making this visual sketch noting of the session just to harvest. I wonder if you can show something or you can't. You can. Good. Yes, here it is. So, and you will be able to download this from the app. There is one section graphics. Not now, of course. In a few minutes, we need to upload first, and she needs to close the work. But this is what comes out from the session. So, just to close, can we go back to the slide deck, please? So yes, if you want to continue this conversation, I know the time of the SME Assembly is almost over, but we will still be at the Ideas Lounge. So if you want just to come there and add something, and we will just bring the tips you made to the Ideas Lounge in any case, and just if you have one final recommendation for our people in this room, our delegates, please do that now or never.
So I told the most time first, so I want to give Nikolai the first choice here.
I don't know, it's also difficult because I come from I guess a different background than all of you. I'm in the private sector. I don't really do the part that you focus on, but I think what you're doing today is probably the main thing, speaking to other people about where should it be, where are we now, where should it be in the future. I think that's a good thing. So do more of what you're doing. I think is probably the best, and think about where we're going in the future. Yeah.
I think it's a good one for me to connect to that. I think it's important to stay curious and open-minded, and also give some new tools, some new inventions a shot to try it out, to take a little bit time to play with it and to look at it, how it is working, how I can maybe use it, so to get an idea, and also say then, okay, it's not for us or it's not for the system, but I tried, I was curious, and of course also keep the challenges and also maybe some dangers in mind, or look at it, and so that you can be aware of the advantages and also of the challenges.
Okay, thank you. So I really want to thank you, Nikolai, Olivier Nielsen, and Louise Maudens for your contribute, and also for bringing two different perspectives in this conversation, because we are all wondering about how to use AI at this moment, and it's really a revolution in this sense. So thank you very much, and we will see around or maybe at the Ideas Lounge if you want, and enjoy the rest of the conference.